Yay, awesome. Okay, so we are using the ephemera pack again, and you got a half of an ephemera pack. And so if you, um, if you have an old one and you don't want to use these sheets or whatever, I will say that I tried to color one in with markers and I thought it looked terrible. And so I was trying to use a bunch of different colors from the DSP. And maybe that's what looked terrible because then in the mail, I got this card and they had colored in those letters with just one color marker, and I think it looks fine. So I think it was either my color choices or the fact that I tried to do 5 different colors. But anyway, so I took one for the team on that. Highly don't recommend doing that. So FYI. I have now, I'm kind of down to like bits and bobs and pieces of this. So if my sentiments don't match the originals exactly, it's fine, no big deal. But you've got that, so hopefully that's around. Um, a couple things in the packet. I put the embellishments in one of the passport holders and I'll show you how I use those. So I have all of my embellishments in these little passport holders, and I just have this in a little like clear box. And then I'm able to go through and see all my different embellishments really easily. And I throw out the little cheapy plastic wrap that comes on them, and then I have them all kind of stored in here and I like it. So I wanted to give you one of those so that you could kind of see if you liked them and and
Do
see
you,
if that was something you might like. So
do you get those on Amazon?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, because the
And
plastic paper they put those things in, the little plastic bag, it
it
always tears and
it always rips. Yep. And I like these because they stand up, they're really firm. And so and sometimes I will tell you this. Every once in a while, I have to trim one a little bit on the left or the right to get it to fit in here. Because some the standard ones fit, but sometimes they make really weird large ones that don't fit. So
um,
sometimes, but there's always a little bit of like gap, and so I feel like I don't know. I feel like they do really well in there, and that system seems to be working for me. So if you're looking for a way to control your chaos, there you go. All right, I think I have these in the order that you had them, but if you put them out of order, that's okay too. We're gonna start with, well, now where are my sample cards? That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, they're by my bedside table. Hold on, I was measuring.
It's good to see you.
Likewise, Carolyn
Yeah.
and Anita. Okay, that's hilarious. I did all the designs last week, but I didn't measure them for the PDF until last night. So anyway, they were all by my bedside table. That's funny. All right, there we go. I'm back. Excellent. All right. So let's start with the really pretty, the beautiful gallery designer series paper, which is Anita. I went by today and dropped off her packet, and she showed me like 27 cards she's already made with this. So this paper is very easy to use. What is cool about it, though, and you might not know this, is that some of the images in this paper were taken from the National Library of Congress, which I thought was a really cool fact. And so this paper has obviously really beautiful, paintings and sceneries, but then some of them, like I'm assuming this one's from the National Library of Congress. They didn't tell us which ones, but they said several of the images were from there. So I thought, I love this paper. It's so pretty and it's very, very easy to use. I wanted to get 2 cards out of this piece though. So you cut it in a 3-inch strip, and then we have the frame. So this frame is actually not the one that comes with the set. This frame is actually made by using the dies that are over here. Oh dear. The textured notes. So when you rest several of those together, then you get, so I did like an inside one and an outside one. And so just so you know, like you don't have to have the frame dies that come with this set to make a frame. You can create frames lots of other ways. Um, so all we're gonna do is trim this piece down. And I pseudo trimmed my pieces down. And then we've got this basic beige and this secret sea. And I trimmed mine so that I would have maybe more flower, less, less pot. I like the flowers more. So I'm going to trim a little of that pot off. I think that should be just about right. There we go. And then for this one, I did not use the embellishments that come with this suite. Instead, I used the muted palette dots. The ones that come with the suite are in your sample. They're these incredibly heavy pressed flower motifs. They're made of real metal, and that's why they're so heavy. Normally, our palette dots, even if they have a metallic look, they're like an enamel underneath, and these are actually real metal. These are gonna like increase the weight of your card. They're that significant. So just FYI. So what I did was I glued my piece down and then I popped this piece up with dimensionals on top because I thought that it looked nice if it was raised a little bit. So I'm just going to put this center-ish. All right, and then we're going to get some dimensionals. I've got some of these weird extra ones left over from a paper pumpkin or something. Who knows, right? But they're fine. They're those funny strips. They'll work great on this. So, and then I put some dimensionals on this part of the sentiment, and then I glued this part down flat so that it's at the same level as the frame itself. So, I thought this was a nice thinking of you card. So I tried to pick sentiments that made sense, Unfortunately, we need too many thinking of you cards right now. All right, so I got that on there. And that seems to be a little bit higher of a profile than the other ones that I used. So I'll probably take one of these and cut it into pieces before I put it on here. But I want it to be the same height, so I really do need it to be, not two different kinds of dimensionals. The kinds we get in our paper pumpkins are sometimes a little bit puffier or higher. I don't know. And then a little bit of glue there. There we go. Nice. And then just a couple, I think there's like 1, 2, 3 of those green muted palette dots on there. But this paper, I mean, it's easily framed, right? But you can also make a lot of really fun, like fun fold cards and, where the scenery kind of like continues on. There's a ton of example cards with this paper. You will have no problem coming up with 27 ways to use this, I am sure, as Anita has found. So,
And Melissa, I did a blue one instead of the flower one.
ooh, let me,
So I used your blue frame,
oh
but
yeah,
I just put the blue paper and,
so pretty.
yeah. So,
I love that. That's awesome. I'll go back. Um, yeah, so I mean, honestly, it doesn't really, it does not matter what you use. And I really like the basic beige and secret sea color combo. This paper is making me like basic beige a lot, and I love secret sea. So I have no problem, no issues with secret sea. So
so is the frame secret sea?
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
see,
so
in person, it doesn't look as dark. When you look at it online, it's like, it looks black,
it does look black online,
but
and
it's a very pretty blue, yeah,
it's a
okay.
very pretty blue. Yeah, it's a very deep, 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 deep dark blue. And I didn't think they could get deeper or darker than Night of Navy, but they did. So it's a very pretty color. So I like it a lot. All right, well, here comes our Christmas card and the paper you guys couldn't find. Sorry about that. Oops. No big deal. No big deal. All right. So this is there's 3 sheets. They're they're 6x6s of this paper. And it's the Irresistible Designs specialty paper. There's one that has this hatching on it. And then there's one that has some leaves that are kind of textured. And then there's another one that has, oh, flowers. It has some flowers on it. So hopefully you can see there's that sheen on it. I used a piece that was just, so I tried to be careful with it, stingy. So I just used a 3-inch strip. And what you'll want to do is get your um, as you can see, my scratch paper. haha. So you'll want to get your paper and use your ink and a sponge. You could use the daubers or you could use one of your brushes. Just remember, especially with shaded spruce, it's a dark color, daub off and then, rub on. And then I would recommend that you have a tissue nearby because these glossy parts resist the color and they hold on to it a little bit. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a tissue so that or paper towel or something so that you can kind of rub off that color. So and it'll probably get on your hands too. And see, somehow I always forget to daub off every single time. I'll just hide it with the sentiment. Or maybe that'll be the piece I trim off. Who knows? So, all right. Let me close the door a little. The little dog likes to bark a lot, so she's barky, 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 barky. So you can make this as dark as you want or as light as you want. I wanted it pretty dark, but you really won't see the contrast until you wipe it with the tissue. So, all right, so I'm gonna grab my tissue and when you rub, then it'll kind of brighten up those white lines because it'll pick up all the ink off of that. And so then you should have a pretty good contrast between your color and that. because they're so glossy, you should still be able to see, some of the glossiness. So, all right. So then once you do that, then you can kind of trim down, an end of it because you only need it to go to 5 1/4. And we'll see if I can trim off my my darker spot, although it doesn't look so bad now. It'll just be in the corner. So, well, this is what we're working towards. We got our cherry cobbler and our shaded spruce, our very, very Christmas colors. And there's several Merry Christmas sentiments in here. There's a Happy Holidays. There's a Happy Christmas, which I'm iffy about, but whatever. And then I use the shaded spruce and the soft seafoam ribbon because I think it's a really big ribbon. But it does tie really nice bows and it is really pretty. So, but you can do whatever you want. So once we have that panel, we can glue that panel down. And Candy did a sample that she used the leafy one and she used the little jungle pals with the leaves. It was really cute. It was more of like an old olive, and I thought it was really cute. So this ribbon's really pretty. It just, it's thick, and so it would be great for like packages or I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think could be really fun to do with this ribbon. So you do need to have a good pair of sharp scissors when you cut it, though, for sure. And I don't think those are the right scissors. So with this, so this ribbon has 2 tones. So it has a soft sea foam and a shaded spruce side. It's the one that goes with the turtles. And when you tie a bow with it, if you want more of one color to show, then you have to be very careful about how you tie the bow. So just, but it's almost impossible. You can rotate this ribbon like in here and get like all of the shaded spruce to show, but it's like almost impossible to get it the same on all sides. So just FYI, if that's the look you're going for, it's hard to achieve. And it does tie a nice bow. That's a really big bow. Maybe this one will be a little more obnoxious than the other one. All right. I'm gonna put my Merry Christmas over here, and then so I don't glue my bows down normally, and I wouldn't with this one either. What I did do was I made sure that I did some tiny dimensionals on the top and the bottom that created kind of like a channel for this to hold this down. And then I got this adjusted where I wanted it. And then I did put a glue dot under the just this main piece so that it wouldn't like move around as much. So that, an appropriately placed glue dot is probably smart. I tie my bows upside down, so I'm gonna try again on this side. I don't know why. It's like some weird, I must be some sort of left-handed issue. I don't know. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So, oh, and that one I almost got to face the right way. So that's fancy. All right. That probably could go like that. You want to flip it. I know you do. All right, I'm gonna get my big scissors out, my ribbon scissors. And even though it's a big ribbon, you can still make a relatively small-ish bow with it. But it's good to have a nice sharp pair of ribbon scissors for this one, or else it'll fray. And we've had a few other papers like this where you can add some color and kind of make it whatever you want. So I think it's a
I
fun.
think you could probably use the alcohol markers too. I
You
tried a little section at the corner, so
Yeah. And
it's,
did they resisted like
yeah, they resisted, yeah.
huh, interesting. Yeah, I mean that would work too. So then you could color in like especially the one with the flowers on it. That'd be nice on the flower one because then you could color in the flowers how you wanted. Um and it's
You
possible
know,
you could do a little, you could have the background be one color and then that the other. So yeah.
those cards we have that have the gold
Uh-huh.
flowers
Uh-huh.
on them?
Uh-huh.
Those
Uh-huh.
take alcohol markers beautifully. You can color all those flowers and it really jazzes up that card.
Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, so I thought this was fun. So, yay, you have one Christmas card done. Check. Like, just, 149 more to go. Oh, and you have a white piece for the inside of that one. Because you probably want to put the white on the inside. So you have, you know, unless you're gonna write with a different color marker or put a standard insert or something. Nice. All right.
And I also use that little piece of the picnic table.
Uh-huh.
That had a picnic blanket, so I made my card with it.
Oh, nice. That's a cute idea.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm gonna get myself cleaned up and organized. I'm doing the next card. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so this is the one that has the fun fold. And this is, it has a little belly band on it. And I scored it wrong the first time I made it, so we're all gonna learn from me, and then you won't make the same mistake. So I'm gonna get the piece I did wrong. It's okay, right? All right, here's the piece I did wrong. And I'm gonna use this one for my next one. Yeah. Okay, so so it opens like so. So, which is nice. So you can see the inside, the back panel, you can see the flowers, and then you've got this little hidden piece to write a sentiment on. I like cards like this sometimes because sometimes I don't have a lot to write. So like it's nice to have a little channel. When I scored this one, I scored it the wrong way. And if you turn it over, your flowers are upside down. So, because I was like, oh, I can just do this. And then I'm like, oh, but all my flowers are upside down. And this flower paper is pretty directional. So if you mess up, it's okay. But I will just recommend that we will score it together. And I'm going to get mine out. I'm going to get my scoreboard out. So the channel is the whole piece is 5 1/4. And I think I'm going to just confirm. I think it's by 12, but I want to make sure. It's 11 1/2, which is really strange. So you're going to cut a 1/2 inch off of your piece.
So Melissa, your PDF says 5 1/2 by 11 1/2. And you just said 5 1/4. So should we do 5 1/4 or 5 1/2?
You should do Yeah, you should do 5 1/4.
Okay,
Always better to be smaller than bigger, right?
Okay.
So no big deal, right? At least I didn't go the other way. I will fix that. You're right. Typo. Okay. So then you're gonna score it at 4. So you've two choices. You can either you can either rotate it so your flowers are upside down while you score, or you can turn it not like this, but like this. Personally, I would just score upside down. I think that's easier, and I know we'll all get it right if we do it this way. So we're going to score at 4, gently, right? Because, it's DSP. So 4, 6 3/4. I'm going to probably change the directions on this just to say upside down because I think that's easier. And 9 1/2. There we go. So what that creates is, right, a fold back, and a fold forward, right? So that creates this piece that now has the inverse facing us, right? The reverse side, and then it has the front side of the flowers. So yay for that one. Now, unfortunately, my DSP doesn't match my card base on this one. That's okay. And I might just use this one backwards, maybe. I'll do this one, but I'll use it backwards, and I'll be okay with that. Just because it matches the colors a little better. All right. So then you have a flat piece of cloud cover, which I like cloud cover. I think it's a really pretty color. And we're going to glue the back of this onto, I'm going to put this card in front of you so you can see, right, kind of where we're going. And you could use either of these sheets. Oh, this one also needs to be trimmed down. That's funny. It's also the wrong size. Apparently, I don't listen to my own advice. 5 1/4. There we go. Oh, that's fun. 5 1/4. Man. All right. I promise I'm a professional. I can do this. There we go. Okay. So and then in order to get the belly band to fit in your kit, I went ahead and scored it. So hopefully it's at a pretty good place for you to make your belly band. I think it is. So you'll just glue that together right on top. And I just usually hide a little, do a little glue in there. And then I used Petunia Pop because I thought it was a fun color. And I also used the Petunia Pop pearls. So there's 2 sets of in color flat pearls. There's from 2 years of in colors. So there's 2024, 26, and there's 25, 27. These are the older colors, last year's colors in colors, but it looks really cute with this paper. So, and then I just glued this down flat to cover my seam because I don't want anybody to see my seam. And then added a sentiment with dimensionals. So you could add best wishes, because I think this looks like a really nice wedding card. And then don't forget, make it loose enough that you can still get your belly band off. And you can only send this to people who know how to take a belly band off. Somebody rips those open every single time. You want to be present when they open this card. And if your white piece is too big, then I apologize. It probably needs to be trimmed down. I'm going to put mine, and mine will be okay, but if it needs to be trimmed down, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do a thanks on this one because I think I don't use this one on anything else. So, but this would be a great like congratulations. Thanks would look good.
Hey,
think
where did you put that white piece? Melissa, I had my head down.
Yeah, it's okay. I put it right in here.
Oh, okay.
So that's the little piece to write on.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Congratulations looks really cute on that too. So I don't know. I don't know which one I want to do. Yeah, I like the thanks. All right. Some dimensionals. That looks cool with that label too. I don't know. That's neat. So 2 different pieces, one in reverse, one the other way. They both look really cute, honestly. Don't think it really matters, but I've accepted my fate on that one. And the other thing I've been doing is I've been marking my embellishments with annual catalog or online exclusives, mainly so I can keep myself clean and straight, as you know, to what is where and how. So, because if not, I don't know, I'm gonna end up getting very, very confused and not knowing where things came from. But yeah, I think we could add some pink to this one too. I think that would be cute. Oh. I have noticed that these sometimes come off without the adhesive, so you just kind of have to stick them back on the piece. But those look pretty. It's always nice when you can use a full piece of paper, like a 12 by 12, right? Because I think that then you can see how pretty the paper is. The paper in the online exclusive that's floral as well would look really nice with this technique because then you can see the whole, the whole width of the color because it has that rainbow spectrum from left to right, which is really cool. So,
May I
yeah.
ask if you could let me know what the dimension, or not the dimensions, but the scoring is for that belly strap?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So I think that's funny. I will, let me measure. So it was a piece that was, so it's, I think the length of a piece, now that I glued it together, 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. So that's 8 1/2 and 9 1/2. So it was a piece that was 9 1/2 long and it was scored at 2 1/2. Oh no, I remember this. It was terrible. 2 3/8 and 2 3/8. I do remember that. So on either end, it was scored at 2 3/8. It was a terrible measurement. I'm going to write that down. I'll add it into the PDF, but only if I can write it down now before I forget it. So it was a 9 1/2 inch strip. And it was 2 3/8 from each end. So I'll do the math on that. But I remember it was a very weird number, but it fit just right. And so, yeah.
And so it's 9 1/2 long, and then the width is?
3/4. It's a 3/4 inch strip. It's a little bit narrower than
Right.
the normal belly band, but in this case, that's the width that fit well with this label. Because when I went
Mhm.
any wider, the label looked weird. So I
Yeah.
wanted it narrower than the label. So,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. And I'll put that in the PDF too. So sorry I didn't do that before. I'll fix lots of things on that one. Okay, good. Yay. Okay. Now we're getting into the fun, the boho vibes, the retro one, which I thought was this is a fun paper. So it reminded me of like, the 70s. We had a yellow kitchen and we had green shag carpeting in our house. Everything in our kitchen was yellow. The laminate, the tile, everything. The mixer was yellow. Everything was yellow.
Mine was all avocado green.
Avocado green, right? Those are the two colors. Those are your choices. So it reminded me of Polaroids. So that's why I made this, which is very easy to make. All it is the stitched shape, right? Die. And then your piece is just bigger, right? So I wanted this card to look like a retro Polaroid. So I'm so excited
Cool.
when it came out how I wanted it to look. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. Woohoo!
Cool.
Yeah, so this whole paper screams retro to me. I used the brick embossing folder on the background because it needed a little bit of texture and it couldn't be anything like feminine or, like damask. We have a lot of really feminine like embossing folders and I wanted something that was a little more neutral. So I thought this was a fun, cool card. And this, you just take the DSP and you cut it into 3x3 pieces. So that one piece, and I mean, I couldn't put this back together if I wanted to. I'm not very good at puzzles, clearly. There we go. I found one. So this piece was one of the ones that, it was a piece that went together and had kind of multi rainbows. So this one's nice and clean and fits in neatly. This one I might choose to do one of the other ones. I'm just going to look and see kind of which one. I don't like that one as much. This one's also pretty rainbowy looking, but it doesn't have as much of the yellow in it. So I think I wouldn't use that one either. So probably I'll use this one. So with this one, I actually glued, and you could do this two ways. You could do it how we did the other one, where you glue the piece down and then you pop this up. I tried to glue it to make it look more like a Polaroid to the actual paper. The problem is that it's a very narrow border. Very, very narrow border here. So you could try to do a little bit of glue. I used wet glue on this one. I don't know that I would recommend that. I would say probably not. So I'm going to use dry glue this time and we'll see if it's better. So this piece is pretty tight on here. And then I'm just gonna run this all the way around and we're gonna see. You can learn from me and see. But the wet glue was a bit of a mess. And then I want it to go like that too. So because I'm not really creating a frame, right? I want it to stick to this because it's all one Polaroid, right? So that's why that I definitely would do that. Do dry glue. 1000% do that. And then we'll just put 1,000. Apparently, I'm only working with many dimensionals today, which is a fun challenge. So we'll just put 27 many dimensionals here. Maybe not 27. We'll see how many. I don't recommend over dimensionaling, but when you're using tiny dimensionals, I think you kind of have to. That's not bad. It's just 12. And then I will tell you my great move and my great moment, which was I had sat at my desk and baggied up all of your gold sequins into little Ziploc baggies and mailed off everyone's packets on Monday. and then realized after the next day that the baggies were still on my desk. So if you got your packet in the mail, you do not have your gold sequins because they are sitting on my desk. If you have gold sequins, great. If not, I'm happy to drop your bag in the mail. I laughed when I found them. If your packet got hand delivered, then you have your bag of sequins. I was like, oh, darn. Okay. That was a moment. So Geraldine, Anita, Ruth, I will mail you guys your sequins.
No, I
Um,
got mine. Mine were in my bag.
oh, good.
Yeah.
So I think Carol maybe and Geraldine, I think.
That's okay. I'm sure I have sequins in my
I-
abundance of
I-
embellishments. Don't worry about it.
It's definitely not the first time we've had gold sequins. I know that.
And I'm
But
good,
I,
Melissa.
huh?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
fine.
I felt bad. I was so mad at myself. I sat down, I had them propped up on my little, I have this thoughts of a dog day by day calendar, and I looked over and I was like, well, darn, there's my very nicely baggied sequins sitting. I was like, dang it. But anyway, so you can sprinkle some sequins on here or whatever you feel like is fun. The muted palette dots are the other thing that goes with this suite. And they're cute. I mean, they're definitely the sweet colors. I just thought that I wanted something that had a little bit more disco flair. I don't know. I was really wanting that 70s vibe. And I felt like the gold sequins had more of a disco flair than these muted palette dots. They're gorgeous, and they match, but it's just a very different, color. It's just a different color palette. So anyway, this is what officially matches the boho vibes. So, and I thought this was a good opportunity to use some of the lettering that has the black background. To me, it looks a little more modern and a little more funky and fun. And so for me, this was, I felt like this was the right time to use the black. The black ones also looked really good with that gallery paper as well. So just if you're wondering, like, you're like, huh, I have a whole sheet of black ones. The gallery paper looked really, really nice with that black as well. So just FYI. Nice. All right. Moving
Just
on.
pulled out. It was like the second adhesive embellishments I had, so
Yeah.
I used the heart
Oh, let me.
sequence. I don't know from what year they are, but
Oh, those are so cute. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are fun. Those are relatively recent. I think I just put them in my retired pile, or maybe they're on last chance right now, actually, I think. So, those look good. I like the hearts. I don't know where mine are. Oh, I saw Patsy's when we were helping her with her room the other day. So, yay. All right, all right. So we've got, I think, 2 more cards. We're doing good. Yay. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So, oh, yes, this is a fun one. I need my pack though for this. All right. So this is the Kintsugi suite. And this designer series paper is so, so pretty. And I think a little can go a long way. So just FYI, you don't have to use a ton. The piece that I used was the Misty Moonlight to do a lot of like tone on tone monochromatic. And then I used one of the pieces with the vases. The vases die cut. If you have the suite, the dies will just cut them out. But this is literally the easiest thing on the planet to fussy cut. Like even I can fussy cut this. So I have faith in you. One of the things I like about this that I don't know, I don't think we've ever done anything like this. The color extends beyond the gold. So it's really, really easy to not cut any of the gold off and just kind of just cut, you know, where the color is. So I just found this was, even I could do this. So we're just gonna fussy cut a vase, and you could cut out one of the basic beige ones. You could do the pink. I mean, any of these colors would look super cute. And a lot of folks, there is a die that cuts out the chrysanthemums. And a lot of folks have been using those on cards as well. And I think you could probably fussy cut it too, you know, if you did a nice, you know, easy cloud around it. But yeah, this is such pretty paper.
I don't, now I put the chrysanthemum in the vase.
Ooh,
But now
see,
that I'm looking at it, it doesn't, the leaves don't match the card, but I guess it looks all right.
yeah, so I had thought about doing that. That's funny you did that. I had thought about doing that.
And it was
And
easy to fussy cut, yeah.
yeah, well, you like fussy cutting. Like, you know, not everybody
Well, I was
likes.
gonna lay it at the bottom, by the bottom of the vase, but the way the stem of the flower went, I couldn't get it positioned like I wanted it.
Yeah,
I just,
I wanted it to lay like this, right? And instead it lays like this. The
yeah.
orientation's wrong. So
Yeah.
I agree. And then on the inside, this is a piece that's 4 wide so that you could get 3 of them out of your strip. But then it's just 5.5. So you have a little extra piece in here that you can put on the bottom. But I really like this because then you can see the pretty paper on the inside too. So let me show you how to glue this one together because there's a little trick to it, so that your edge lines up where you want it to. So you're just going to cut your piece, a 4-inch wide strip. And then you're going to cut it to 5.5. And that's going to give you a little baby piece for the inside. So when you're gluing your piece down, you don't want it to come in all the way to the fold, because then you'll have like a gap here. So what I did was I kind of brought it out a little bit. So when I'm gluing, I just glue on this outer edge, one strip, and then I brought the DSP right to the edge here so that when I glue this down, now it seems like a continuous, you know, card front, right? So now this edge. So what that means is there's a little gap right here. So there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of the cardstock is seen right there on the fold. But that lets you get 3 of them out of, you know, a 6-inch run. And then for some reason I didn't cut that right. So I'm just going to trim that because that looks funny. So we have a friend that did kintsugi. She's an art therapist, and they did a class with it. And whoever was teaching the class was not a professional at this, and they did it without gloves on. And apparently, it's very, very toxic, and you can be very, very allergic to it. And she broke out in a horrible rash all over her body. Noelle used, yeah, Noelle used to be on our team. I don't know if any of you remember her. And so now when the suite came out, I sent it to her and I said, "Hey, does this bring back any memories?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh." And she's like, "I'm itching just looking at it." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Um, but yeah, so if you ever go do this in real life, please wear gloves and don't touch your face or your eyes or your body, because it is toxic. FYI. But we got a good chuckle out of that. I was like, "Hey, look what Stampin' Up's doing." So all right, so then I just put the vase kind of on the seam, popped it up with some dimensionals, and added I did dimensionals on this side of the sentiment, and on the left, I just did a little bit of glue. So the same kind of technique. And then this ribbon's really interesting. So this is a starter pack of ribbon, and the we've never had a ribbon like this before, which is funny. It's called a starter ribbon pack. It's $5. You only get 2 yards of each though. So normally our spools have 10 yards. This has 2 colors, 2 yards of each, for $5, which is, I mean, it's affordable. And it's a great way for someone, if they've never played with ribbon before, it's a great way for them to, get to experience ribbon. It does tie nice little bows. And I don't think this card needs much. Again, the embellishment that came with this set is this very, very gold. They are gold if you wanted to use them on that other one. But to me, they're a little garish. I don't know. Maybe they're just too gold. It's these. Are they called the pressed? No, the flower accents. And they're like yellow gold. I mean, they're very, very bright. They are not real metal, so they will not weigh down your card, which is good. But they're just I just think they're a lot. So anyway, I did not use them with this. I used the Misty Moonlight ribbon, but I also like a monochromatic color scheme. So it's easy to match when it's all the same color, right? Maybe that's why I tend to do monochromatic stuff. It always looks good. Maybe I'll send this card to my friend. She'll love it. It might make her itch though. I don't wanna send her, into an allergy attack. But the other ribbon that would look nice with this is the basic beige ribbon. It ties really nice bows, and I think would be a really pretty addition to this. And I could have done basic beige on the inside too, as like my inside piece. I did white this time, but basic beige would have worked as well. So. I just put this down with a glue dot. I have some good glue dots here somewhere. Cute. Yeah, just a little something. It probably doesn't even need a bow, but if you like a bow, it's a nice addition. This is a really skinny little ribbon, the Misty Moonlight and the white. So it's I think it's like a 1/8 inch ribbon. So okay. All right. I think we've got one card left and then we're done. Oh, we're doing turtles. That's right. All right. Turtle time. Okay. So the turtles are fun. And this is my favorite piece of paper in the whole set. I love this turtle shell paper. And then if you have the dies will die cut several of the guys on the paper and a lot of their pieces. So where did I put that? All right. But you can also just fussy cut them. So the guy in the chef hat, the turtle in the chef hat he's not from that piece. See, I have to turn this over. Where's my turtles? There's so many turtles and they're doing so many fun things. You just never know. All right, here we go. This is the piece. If you don't have the turtles, I wanted to show you the turtle dies just to show you how many things they cut out because they're extensive. So there's 3 turtle shapes. There's the turtle that has the arm that he can hold something, so it cuts a slit. So that fits him. Then there's the turtle who's on his back and he's kind of laughing. He's not on this page, but he's on another one. There's also the turtle who's holding like the balloons. So he's here. But then there's a cake, a flower, two birds, an ice cream cone, a party hat, the straw hat, the chef's hat, the microphone, the banjo or the balloon, the watering can, the chef's apron, and then these two pieces cut some details for the back of a turtle, like his little shell. Anyways, it's the wildest thing. There's so many dies in here. And one of the things I like, Stampin' Up's really good about coordinating DSP to paper. I've never seen it where like literally almost every single turtle on this sheet and item, including the cake, can be die cut out. Like this is crazy. So this whole thing would be full of holes because we can cut the cake and the ice cream and the hats and the balloons and it's nuts. So anyway, the turtles are fun. And once you start cutting them out and you start playing with them, I'm just warning you, you might not stop, So, all right. So for this one, I did, on this guy, I did the turtle and he's holding a balloon, and I did an ice cream cone and a party hat. With this one, I like the chef, but I want him holding this little chocolate cake. So I'm gonna put the chocolate cake up on dimensionals. So when he's holding it, it kind of pops up. So, but you could use whatever turtle you want for your happy birthday. Now, this was the happy birthday that I tried to color in that looked terrible. So just, we've all accepted that that's not a good look. But, you know, I think this is perfectly fine with the black and the white. And then I put a white piece on the inside of this one. And again, I think with this one, I'm going to take this extra piece that I have and I'm going to make a little strip for the inside of each of these cards. So, because I have a little extra. And why not? That's fun. And then I did use the hexagons on here. These embellishments are gorgeous. I think they look like sea glass, and I would use them on anything, honestly. They might be my new favorite embellishment this year. So they're very, very pretty. And if you don't know that they go with the turtle suite, you don't know. And you would just think they're just really pretty pieces of sea glass. So, all right. So we're going to put a little inside panel in there. And then we got a little outside panel. And now that I ruined my happy birthday, I'm going to go find another one. So I put him on a diagonal on this piece. Lots of people have been using circles and they look cute on circles too. But I thought it would be fun to do something a little different. So I thought about doing this happy birthday that's on the black because it's cute. We'll try it and see. It's kind of tiny, but might not be the right size. Let's see. Ooh, happy Father's Day. What else works here? No Easter. I think I'm going to keep it. It's either that or congratulations. We'll see. Happy birthday looks really tiny, but it is cute. It does stand out. All right. And then I'm going to put this whole panel, including the sentiment, I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. So I'm just going to put you know, tiny little dimensional there and then do the whole panel up. Well, hopefully this was fun and you got a chance to play with all the new stuff and kind of got to check out, you know, what all the new papers are like. I think they did a great job. These are easy to use papers. One of the things we talked about was that the papers are so easy to use, you don't really even need the stamp sets. And so, especially with the turtles, you know, you might not need the stamp set. This might be plenty of turtles for you and you're done. So, uh, you know, turtles aren't for everybody. So it's some fun. Oh, uh-oh. That's the back to that one. Okay, he's going there. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna get all the cards back out just so we can see them. Maybe. Let's see where they all went. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Let's see, I'll move them over. Those are some pretty happy cards, I think. Yeah, those are fun. So I'm going to stop recording. Let's see, stop recording.